After finishing chemotherapy, I wanted to do everything in my power to make sure I never, ever had cancer again. Of course, I had already done a lot, surgery, chemo, but there must be something more I could do. What could I do with my lifestyle or exercise to lower my risk? Well, over the last decade, there's been lots and lots and lots of research on exercise and its impact on cancer survivors. The latest results show that you can lower your risk of a cancer recurrence by up to 59% through exercise alone. That's better than a lot of the drugs on the market. I wanted that type of cancer risk reduction, so I started searching exactly what I needed to do with my exercise and movement. Now, it turns out there are a couple of types of exercises that you need to do to lower your risk of a cancer recurrence by that much. But one of the main types of exercise is low intensity cardio. That means walking. If I truly wanted to give it my best shot at staying cancer-free, then I needed to consistently start walking in my daily routine. That's exactly why I'm walking 10,000 steps a day for 30 days to lower my cancer risk. The research around exercise and lowering your risk of a cancer recurrence isn't exactly new. There have been research studies published for decades that show how cancer survivors can effectively use exercise to lower their cancer risk. Unfortunately, this concept has not been routinely incorporated into cancer recovery plans in North America. It's rarely covered by oncologists, and as a result, cancer survivors typically don't know that they can get a large cancer risk reduction just by walking around. Now, the most recent literature does show that you need to use a combination of both low-intensity cardio, so walking, and strength training to lower your risk of a cancer recurrence by up to 59%. Now, strength training can be a total game changer, especially if you're struggling with exhaustion, hot flashes, or joint pain. Body weight strength training, resistance bands, or even dumbbells should be incorporated into your cancer recovery and remission plan. Now, I already have a good strength training program in place, so I'm not going to focus on that today. But if this is something you also need help with, I'll link up a video at the end so you can get the help you need. Okay, but why 10,000 steps? Where does this number come from? Well, it turns out that there's nothing really special about 10,000 steps exactly. For cancer survivors, you want to get between 150 and 300 minutes of low-intensity cardio every single week. Now, if you're walking 10,000 steps every day, then you're going to be over this targeted mark. But we have more research coming out that the more movement or more exercise you get, the further your risk reduction. Even better. But since 10,000 steps is a nice benchmark, and I'm a bit of an overachiever, that's why I'm aiming for 10,000 steps every day for the next 30 days. Okay, but the first step is figuring out how am I going to fit this into my busy routine. So let's go do that now. Now, most people who are working a desk job are going to be getting around 4,000 steps a day. This is just walking around your house, getting ready, buying groceries, just your regular day-to-day. 4,000 steps is pretty typical. That means we need to make up the remaining 6,000 steps somewhere in my routine. After the pandemic, my work focus shifted. Like many people, I went from working in the hospital and making a commute every morning and evening to working from home. The commute would take at least 30 to 40 minutes, and I know this is short for a lot of people. But now that I'm working from home, I still wanted to use this commute time but dedicate it to something more productive and useful. This is where my first walk of the day comes in. Each morning, I walk for 30 to 40 minutes, the same length of time as my morning commute used to be. Not only did this replace my commute, but it also became my time to decompress and clear my head. This walk alone gets me to 5,000 steps, setting me up for success for the rest of my day. Now, the nice thing about walking is that it's free. It's not going to cost you a thing, nothing. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need fancy equipment. You can just get out and just start. And you also don't need to start with 30 to 40 minutes in the morning. Adjust it to where you are at now. If you really are at 0 for your exercise level, then start with just 5 minutes in the morning. This is so much better than just doing 0 minutes. Progress, not perfection, right? With a good dent in my walking for the day, I get to my office and start some work. But my next walk is going to come at lunchtime. It's easy to just power through lunch and keep working or take meetings, but this is not great for lowering your cancer risk or for your productivity. Come lunchtime, I take a quick 10 to 15 minute walk. Usually, I take my dog. Now, taking her helps both of us. During the afternoon, I'm going back to work or taking meetings, and she behaves so much better if she gets a bit of exercise. Less whining and less barking. Now, this length of walk is pretty short, so it's easy to squeeze in and doesn't leave me sweaty or out of breath. With this level of walking, I'm pretty much at 10,000 steps for the day. That is if everything goes as planned. But if I get interrupted in the morning or pulled away over lunch, the entire day can get derailed. That happens. Now, I'm not much of an evening walker. I'm a morning person, so walking at night just does not fit my natural rhythm. But here's the thing. There are days where it's getting close to time to go to bed. And if I haven't hit my 10,000 steps yet, guess what I'm doing? I'm getting it done. Those steps have got to happen. Okay, so today really got away on me. I meant to go out for my morning walk this morning, but it was pouring rain, so I decided just to skip it. Then I didn't make it up anywhere throughout the day, and so we've had supper, I put the kids to bed, and now I've got to make up about 2,500 steps. So I committed to doing this for 30 days, so here we go. Now, of course, we know that walking can lower your cancer risk. But there are a lot of other benefits specific for cancer survivors. As a cancer survivor, many of us struggle with anxiety, depression, or PTSD. While walking is not a miracle cure, it does have a very good impact on my mood. Getting outside and getting active, it's like a natural mood booster. It helps alleviate that stress. It makes you just feel better about your day. But then there's the sleep. So many cancer survivors struggle with getting a good night's sleep. I'm working my way through this 10,000 steps a day challenge, and I've got to tell you about my sleep. So since starting doing 10,000 steps a day, I've noticed that I fall asleep faster and I stay asleep. Plus, when I wake up in the morning, I'm more refreshed, I'm ready to go. So yeah, it's about 10,000 steps a day, but it's about more than that. I can't believe how much better my sleep is. So it's actually about more than just moving your body. It's about having better energy, better motivation throughout the day. It's just a positive snowball effect. Now, when I encourage women who work with me in the Cancer Freedom Program to hit 10,000 steps a day, I get some mixed reactions. Some women feel like all they'll be doing all day long is walking if they commit to that level of steps. Now, I get it. You're busy. And to commit to walking 10,000 steps a day and adding another thing to your to-do list can feel just overwhelming. But guess what? My productivity, it actually went up when I started walking 10,000 steps a day. Okay, I'm just finishing up my morning walk for today, and last night was a late one. I got to bed late because my website went down. I wasn't receiving emails, so I had to stay up late, sort all that out before today. But I just got back from my morning walk, and I'm actually feeling a whole lot better. My morning walk helped me mentally just sort that all out. So now I've got my top 3 priorities for the day, sitting down at my desk, and I'm ready to get going. So it might seem counterintuitive that actually going for a walk will help you get more done, but today, that's exactly what it did. Okay, but what about my weight? Did walking 10,000 steps a day actually help me to lose any weight? That's always the big question. And here's the truth. During this same period, I didn't make any changes to my nutrition. And you know what? My weight, it didn't change very much either. But here's the thing, I didn't expect my weight to change. If you're not changing your eating habits, then changing your exercise alone is not going to make a dramatic shift on your weight after cancer. It's really, really difficult to work out enough to actually make up for a diet that's misaligned with your body after cancer. Remember, it's a combination of both nutrition and exercise if you want to change your body weight after cancer, but the biggest driver in that is your nutrition. If you want to get started changing your nutrition today, then I'll link up my free recipe book below. There are recipes in here that I use every single day with the women who work with me in the Cancer Freedom Program. So you can get your copy for free right now. Click the link below.
Okay, so I'm about 25 days into my 30-day challenge, and my husband and I actually decided to take a trip together. And I thought that traveling on an airplane would make it pretty tough to hit the 10,000 step mark. But actually, airports are huge, airport terminals are huge. So it's now 6 o'clock and we're already past 10,000 steps.
Okay, the big question. Will I continue to walk 10,000 steps a day now that this 30-day challenge is done? And the answer? Absolutely. The truth is that it doesn't feel like a real major commitment. It's not some enormous time-consuming task, although at first it might feel like it is. In fact, the time it took me was barely noticeable. After getting in that long walk in the morning, I'm able to hit that 10,000 mark every day. Plus, when you consider all the positives of walking and moving your body more, well, it's worth a little bit of effort. I'm all in when it comes to lowering my cancer risk, so if that means moving my body a little bit more, I'm all for it. But let's face it, there's soon going to be days where it's freezing cold outside, and that is going to deter me from walking. But I have backup plans for those days. I'm going to walk on the treadmill or the walking pad at home while I'm watching TV or while I'm doing work. Or I'm going to go to the mall or even walk around Costco. As a cancer survivor, if I'm going to say I want to do everything I can to lower my risk of cancer, then I've got to walk 10,000 steps a day. Using targeted exercise, including walking 10,000 steps a day, is really the first step in lowering your risk of cancer. Pun intended. But the second piece of targeted exercise and getting to that 59% reduction in your risk of cancer recurrence, well, that piece is strength training. I've linked up this next video here to show you exactly how to get started. Click the link here and I'll see you in there. But I'm only at 5,000 steps today and it's already 4 p.m., so I better get going.